So just want to thank you all and welcome you all to the vault.com on High Frequency Radio Network, broadcasting live. Just want to, thank you all for tuning in wherever you are. Good day, good night, wherever you are. And always want to start out as we always do, giving out a big shout out, a big thanks to all the individuals that are listening live. Just very thankful, very excited that we can bring this episode to you. Tonight we're going to be going over how a common law foreign trust 98 number is tax exempt. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to this episode, and just going to do my best to bring you all the best pieces of information I possibly know how to do, and go from there. So we always start out as we always do, giving shout out and thanks to the ancestors and the universe and the creator for bringing us here. My mother and my father and my grandparents for helping me become the man that I am. Just always want to be thankful as we always start out, because without our previous individuals that have helped us out, there would be no us, and I think that that's always important to acknowledge. So we're definitely going to start out. If you all are listening live, we are broadcasting live through YouTube as well. So thank you all for just following us on a stream right now, chatting live. If you want to find us on a stream, Sharif Ali. And as well, we're on Blog Talk Radio. If you want to listen directly, you can go to High Frequency on Blog Talk / Blog Talk / .com High Frequency, and you can hear us broadcasting live. Just want to thank you all. And so we're going to start out as we always do, just giving praise to High Frequency Radio Network for allowing the vault to be present and really bridge that gap between the elders and the youth for this type of information when it comes to privacy and public and business affairs, knowing that is our rightful place for us to get back in a position of controlling our finances. This show is catered towards African indigenous descent people. That is me. And so I cater to that demographic of people, knowing that, I come from that community, and, knowing that, we don't always need that 4-year degree to know business, but we are hustlers by nature. And at the end of the day, we have made it through some very wild situations. And for that reason, we're a strong group of people. We also have $1 trillion going through our community. And so it's very important for us to not just focus on getting money, but keeping it. And that is what this show is all about. It's about helping individuals get in a position of not just learning how to get money, but how to keep money. And so this show right here, hopefully how a common law foreign trust 98 number is tax exempt, will help you get a better understanding on how to control the money that's coming into the household or to your family, and move forward in that respect. So just really excited, really thankful to bring this topic to you tonight. Going to start out as we always do. Once again, thank you for listening live and as well in the archives. I want to give a big shout out to the trustees that listen to the episodes. I know you all have, you got into the private trustee training, and now it's time to, still just develop yourselves, invest in yourselves, into your private education. We've all been, for the most part, been given a public education. So it's imperative that we get into the private knowledge and get to the private education. So just really excited about that. I want to start out with the event that we have coming up. It is a private event, so you can RSVP. It is June 24th. That is the date that you can at least plan for right now. At the same time, the location, and that will be disclosed once you have dealt with your actually contributing to being at the event. And that is a private event. At this event, we definitely will be focusing on some forms of trust, and focusing on things of that nature, privacy. Like I say, brothers and sisters, I developed this show because privacy is the call of the day. We can no longer be in the public and give away our playbook. We're excellent at many different things, sports and entertainment, but a lot of those individuals are public figures. And for that reason, when you look at the largest corporations in the world, all of them are privately held. That means that the individuals that are really in control of it do not own it. And we're going to understand why that is the case tonight. So we have an event coming up with a very, very cool special guest. His name is Taj Tariq Bey. Taj Tariq Bey is a elder in the community. And so for that reason, we're going to be going over how to, basically, find out how to make sure that yourself is all together when it comes to privacy. If you all are having any issues on the actual listening, you can go to the YouTube, or you can listen to this in the archives, and you all will have a great clear audio listening experience, because I will make sure that it's recorded in a proper manner. So thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go over once again that event. So if you want to get in contact with that event, it is hfrn.vault@gmail.com, and you can get into that event with a RSVP, and we will go from there. So once again, brothers and sisters, that is hfrn.vault@gmail.com, and you all can make sure that you reserve your spot. Seats are limited. We're getting very close to it because it's June 24th. So just really excited, and look forward to getting individuals going with that. So check out that event. We're going to have Big Brother Yusuf L. I know is most likely going to be there. I'm going to be there. We're going to have another business partner there that deals with corporations and charities and foundations. So very, very important. And then as well, we are going to have Taj Tariq Bey, a very, very eloquent special guest. And I look forward to getting him on the show actually before the event, so we can just, if you don't know who he is, you'll get to know who he is. And then on the back end of that, you'll be prepared for just the things that he wants to talk about to the community, because he is an elder in the community, someone that I respect, and has been, there in my journey on knowledge of self and focusing on privacy and things of that nature. So, brothers and sisters, the topic that we have today is, how is a common law foreign trust 98 number tax exempt? And in the description, you can see it's real easy. Public and private mix. A lot of those do not know the difference between public and private. They don't know the difference between common law and statutory law. They don't know the difference between public law and private law. A lot of people in the public hear about the private sector, but do not know the laws that are governing the private sector. Well, the law that's governing the private sector, brothers and sisters, is the common law. The common law is the law that the United States uses. The only state that's not under the common law is the state of Louisiana. It uses civil or Napoleonic law. So you all can do your research and find that out. Private law is dealing with your common law. Why is it dealing with common law, brothers and sisters? It's dealing with common law because it deals with Article 1, Section 10, Clause 10, which is, no state can abridge the right to contract. It's paraphrased because inside of that clause it has many different things. But Article 1, Section 10, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 9, I'm pretty sure. Excuse me about that. I might be slipping here for a second. But, I'll just Google it for you all right now, so you all can have that right now in your portfolio, so you can say that Sharif Ali knows what he's talking about. Article 1, Section 1, Section 10, and that is dealing with the right to contract. And it's a very, very important thing because no state inside of this United States Constitution, it says no state can abridge the right to contract. They cannot impair the law of contracts. They will honor every contract. So everybody says, well, okay, now that we know that they won't impair the obligation of the contract, you want to know what? Well, what is contract law? What is the law governing contracts? Contract law is private law. Do you see what's governing the private? It's the private law. The private law is contract law. So when you all are looking to create contracts, that's private. That's without the United States. That's without the government. That's perfectly legal. It says it inside of the state constitutions as well as the federal constitution. So when it comes to the contracts that you can create, no state can impair them. That's very important, brothers and sisters, when you're out here looking to do business and you say, well, how can I do business privately? You have to do it through a contract because contract makes the law. That's the private law. A lot of people say, I want to operate from the highest position in commerce. The highest position in commerce is own nothing, control everything. That is the law that is governing commerce. Period. Business. It's own nothing, control everything. Ownership equals full liability. Think about it. If you own something, you're liable for it. Why? Because you own it. Wealthy people know that they don't need to own anything, they just need to control it. Because they understand trust law. They understand contract law. They understand that it's all about jurisdiction. It's all about jurisdiction. Well, Sharif, could you please relate this to how I'm to build my business in a foreign capacity, in a common law capacity, in a 9(8) number tax exempt capacity? Foreign equals private. Domestic equals public. Domestic deals with the state. That's why they ask you, do you have a domestic corporation or foreign corporation? Because it's either domestic or it's either foreign. It's either public or it's either private. It's just that simple. People say, well, what about these common law foreign trust 9(8) numbers? Why do you say they're tax exempt? Because they're foreign. Foreign is not inside of the United States Constitution. It doesn't have any place there. That's why they tell you a lot of the times to keep the Constitution out of it in the public, in a domestic sense. Why do they say that? Because they have no control over the private. They have no control over the foreign. That's why it's tax exempt. I'm going to go to the law too for you all. I'm going to go to the Internal Revenue Manual. Because this is public information. Sharif Ali's not talking about anything that's private. It's only private because you haven't been taught it in the public. That's why it's private. It's private because it's of no interest to the public to give you private information. Correct? It's all about the position you're in. Are you in a position of control or are you in a position of ownership? Because ownership equals full liability. It's all about the jurisdiction. If you're foreign, that means you're tax exempt. You don't see foreigners having issues with that. The only time you are taxed is when you come into the domestic public jurisdiction. That's when you get taxed. When you create some type of obligation in the public. This is critical to understand because this wealth is passed on tax-free. When you see individuals that have these large corporations or these entities, they're passing on wealth tax-free. It's about the position you're in. So, I'm going to just go ahead and start busting out the laws for you all early. Go ahead and get into the game. We're going to go to how an EIN is assigned. This is IRM, Internal Revenue Manual. 21.7.13.2.4. How an EIN is assigned. I'll give out the code again. IRM, that's Internal Revenue Manual. So you all can look this up through Google and Google it because it's all public information. How an EIN is assigned. 21, which is 21.7.13.2.4. EINs are assigned based off of the campus. So we go to, where is the 9(8) number assigned from? The 9(8) number is assigned from a Philadelphia campus. You can see that. We're going to keep scrolling down on the page, brothers and sisters, because we see how the EIN is assigned. Okay, a lot of brothers and sisters have been talking about this information for years now. Oh, I'm going to get a 9(8) number, and I'm going to do business with it. Well, first of all, you have to have an entity. Okay? So, it says how EINs are assigned. The 9(8) numbers are assigned, and we're going to scroll down on the computer here. To what entities? See where it is. The EINs, the 98 numbers, are assigned to foreign entities. They're assigned to foreign trust. So when you all ask, how are these corporations operating in the United States? They're operating as foreign trust. They're operating as a contract. Why? Because a corporation is a contract. A S Corp is a contract. It started by contract. C Corp is started by contract. They're all started by contracts. A trust is nothing more than a contract. So, when you deal with the IRS and you're going to get this EIN number that everybody wants to get so they can be foreign, what they want to be so-called tax exempt, because the IRS is giving it out, so they're not hiding the information. Let's go down to foreign entities, because that's where you need to go. IRM 21.7.13.3.2.7. You can Google this as the show is live or in the archives as you listen. IRM 21.7.13.3.2.7. The definitions and instructions. So we're going to get to the instructions. It also says foreign entities and persons are not required to file a U.S. tax return. See IRM 21.7.13.3.2.7.1. Going to give it out to you again. Don't want to be too fast here. IRM. This is the Internal Revenue Manual. You're dealing with the IRS. Don't you file taxes already? Don't you have to deal with them already? Are you dealing with them in the proper capacity? Are you dealing with them from a public perspective or a private perspective? Here's the private perspective. Foreign entity persons not required. Entity/persons not required to file a U.S. tax return. IRM 21.7.13.3.2.7.1. We're going to keep going because this is where everyone wants to be tax exempt. This whole situation. So it says at 21.7.13.3.2.7, the entities that are assigned a EIN with the 98 prefix. This is on Google, that you can Google it. So you go to this website, IRM. I'm actually at irs.gov right now. So I don't need to be a lawyer because it's public information. They're telling you what you need to know because you can read. It says telephone numbers for foreign entities requesting EIN are assigned EIN prefix 98 numbers are only worked by Cincinnati and Ogden International, keyword international, and if calls are received in any other location, they will provide you with a number. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details here, brothers and sisters. These are informations that you can read. You all can look this up in IRC 7701. Definition. We're going to find out what's domestic, so we can be very clear what domestic is. The term domestic, when applied to a business entity, means it is created or organized in the United States. Well, guess what, brothers and sisters? The United States is not over the common law. They're under the common law. The common law of England, remember? Let's not forget our history. United States or under the laws of the United States or the states unless in the case of a partnership or secretary provides otherwise by regulations. The business entity created or organized both in the United States or in a foreign jurisdiction is a domestic entity. You see how they try to slide that in there, brothers and sisters? They want you to think about domestic corporation, domestic partnership, disregarded entity. Once again, if you're following along, you can see this as I read it. Let's go down to foreign trust. Foreign trust means a trust other than a domestic trust described above. What's a domestic trust? A domestic trust means a trust in which a court within the United States is able to exercise primary supervision over the contract or the administration of the trust. One or more of the United States persons have authority to control all the substantial decisions of the trust. Remember, brothers and sisters, you're either domestic or foreign. You're either public or you're private. Remember, foreign equals private. public equals domestic. This is something that's a piece of information right in front of your eyes. So,